Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio, and today is December 12th, 2023, and thanks for being with us today. We got a nice show for you with my old friends over at CASE. Dr. Brigid Bright is here. Brigid has a new title. Congratulations, Brigid. Yes, she is now the Associate Executive Director of CASE, the Council of Administrators of Special Education. That's what we're going to talk about today is special ed administration, all the various things that are coming up for the end of the year and the new year, okay, and also a word that I love, okay, they're going to talk about the new, Brigid is not there, we are going to talk about the new CASE, listen to this, CommUNITY, CommUNITY. I have it spelled up here on site. Okay, we're going to talk about what all this is about as CASE begins. It continues to build more and more of the special ed administration community and how it's going to work and all that sort of thing. We're going to archive the show over at ace-ed.org. That's where everything we do is. Our Excellence in Equity Awards, our magazine, okay, all the podcasts, and a lot of information that we put up there every day. ace-ed.org, and everything is free for you. If you're listening, so please go over and check it out. And with that, I'll say good morning. Brigid, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine. Where are you today? Are you in Arkansas?
I'm in Arkansas, yep.
How's the weather in Arkansas, Brigid?
It's mild. We've been in the 50s. It's fantastic. It's been really pretty. I just know come January that won't be the case, but we're enjoying it right now.
That won't be the case forever, but it's good to have it now. I got to tell you, I'm up here in Maine. We did get about 2 inches of snow yesterday. No big deal, but
wow.
it did actually snow, and you know it's beginning to look a lot like winter, as we like to say. Okay, what can I tell you? I'm glad you're nice and warm down there. Okay, talk to me about, first of all, congratulations, new title person, Associate Executive Director of CASE. That's good. Tell us all about CASE. You're welcome. You deserve it. Believe me, you deserve it. Okay, tell us about CASE.
Okay,
just generically, then we'll get into the details.
Certainly. So, like you said, CASE is the Council of Administrators of Special Education. We're a division of the Council for Exceptional Children.
Yep.
And our mission is to provide leadership to advance the field of special education through professional learning, policy, and advocacy. So everything we do, we funnel through that mission statement to provide the best benefit to our members and really help all directors of special education internationally.
And, you know, it's hard to do these days. I mean, there's a shortage of every teacher in the world. I always like to say this. There is and everybody knows this, but I just want you to say it because you're so involved with this, that there is a true shortage of special education teachers. And just talk about that and how it's affecting what you guys do over at CASE.
Oh, certainly. So, you know, when I'm a former special ed director, and even in my 20 years of experience, there's always been a shortage. But this is really, we're reaching a critical shortage at this point. It's not uncommon for us to be working with our state units and to find out that, you know, when we ask a roll call how many are fully staffed and you see only a sprinkling of hands raised, that's troublesome for sure.
Yeah.
So when you have short staff, then you do open up yourself to more of the litigation or trying to get things covered in quality services to students. So, and as administrators, that would be their obligation. But then on top of that, if we don't have special educators out there and those numbers increasing, where are our future leaders going to be? So that's something that we think about often too and try to provide support.
Yeah, and how are special ed administrators, district directors, whatever, how are they dealing with this? What's going on with all that? You know, we always talk about it, but they have to deal with it every day. It's tough.
It's a multifaceted approach. So, you know, sometimes we're leaning on our general education teachers that might be duly certified to try to entice them to come on over and provide services. You know, that's what some directors can do. But when you're looking at the pipeline, directors really need to be networking with higher education folks. You know, Future Teachers America clubs that are in high schools are very helpful if you can start growing teachers that way. When I was a director, 80% of my staff were former paraprofessionals.
I'm just going to ask you that. Talk on that. Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Good.
The paraprofessionals are there every day doing the work. And so when you have paraprofessionals that have a degree already or a pathway to a degree, then that's incredibly helpful because they already know the job. So the chance of burnout is not as high. And several states are, the state departments of education are making programs so that paraprofessionals can continue to work while they obtain licensure. So that's incredibly helpful too.
And I hope it all works out. And I hope it gets better next year because it's been just a tough road to hoe. It always has been. Okay, because there's always you're always looking for special ed teachers. If you're a special ed teacher, you can probably get a job, and that's been the same for many, many years. Okay, but it's become tough these days to manage it with the shortage and all that. And anything we can do here, we would love to do to help you, as we always do try to do that. Okay, so what can I say, Brigid? Just keep up the good work and tell your gang to keep the faith. It'll all work out. So what's going on here? This networking. I got to say that it has to work out because we got more kids than ever. Okay, and less professionals to take care of them. It quote has to work out. Okay, school districts. Go ahead. Yeah, say it again.
Oh, I was just going to say, you asked how you could help, and the field of special education is an incredibly rewarding field, and I think sometimes we hear about litigation a lot and some of the negatives in the media and those type of things. And so we really need to spread the message of what a great profession it is, that how much, when I was a director, I loved being a director of special education. And so we're trying to get those stories more out there and hear people hear positive things because there's great things happening in special education all over the country. And so with Phyllis, I always like to say, special ed is working. It's working. we're making it does
work. It does work. Are you guys, how do I want to say this? Do you have a marketing budget or something that you're getting the word out? Okay, so that people can know more and more and more and more about it? Can they look anywhere to find out? You know what I mean. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we've been exploring different blogs and different things to have some real positive messaging out there, so that's a priority. Also, Phyllis has been traveling extensively to different states and providing keynotes, myself as well, just to put that face out there to say, hey, we got some great stuff going on, and we're really proud of the profession, and we want to keep growing it and making it even better.
Yeah, and that Phyllis you just mentioned is Phyllis Wolfram, our good friend, who's the executive director. Okay, of course. Brigid being the associate executive director. Okay, so at any rate, and I just have to keep giving you your new title. That's all there is to it. Okay, and it'll all happen. Talk about what's going on. I want to talk to you, and you made this point as you were preparing the show, networking. Okay, and I always say this with teachers. Teachers, or at least teachers in a given school district, teachers in a different school, in a separate school, they're isolated. Okay, and I'll give you an example of that. My nephew is a principal at an elementary school in a mid-sized district in Massachusetts, and he never meets with other principals on a regular basis. It's a mid-sized good district, and never meets with the middle school principals. That is, it's just everybody's isolated. Everybody's isolated. Yet everybody tries to reinvent the wheel, and there's no need to do that. And that to me is why networking, not only networking beyond your school, is so darn important. Maybe I stole your thunder by saying all that, but go ahead. Give me the word.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
And you're right. And so networking is incredibly important for administrators. And like you mentioned, typically principals, at least there'll be other principals in the district. There's many special ed directors that they are the only special ed administrator in the district. And so it's really important to have a statewide network. Yeah, and then also a national network, and I'll tell you more about the national network because
go ahead.
When you have
it has to do with CommUNITY. CommUNITY. I got it. Go ahead.
So having a national network, what's nice is that you can see trends that may have happened in other states that haven't happened in your state yet, and so you can prepare as you see these things move across the country. A good example of that is dyslexia. So different states have adopted the science of reading. It's not reached other states yet. So when you have an international or national network, you can reach out and say, hey, tell me what's going on in your state, and how did you guys address this problem? So issue or growth or whatever. So we love it when we can have in-person events. We're just on the heels of our CASE conference that was held in Pittsburgh. It was a great success. Over, I think our total was 1,130 leaders from around the world, honestly, who were there, and it was a really successful event, and that's great when you can network in person. But we have launched the CASE Community, which is an online digital networking program that's a part of our website, so that our members can interact and network 365. And so we rolled that out at the conference, and we're really, really excited to get more people logging on and get them used to using that platform as just another free CASE member benefit.
They have to do, and what's the feedback you're hearing?
Especially during conference, people like putting up pictures. It kind of looks like a blend of LinkedIn and Facebook is what the platform looks like, and so it's very user-friendly. And I imagine as we get closer to our holiday break coming up that we'll have some good dialogues going on that platform.
And when you must look at it all the time and not to invade anyone's privacy, what are they talking about? Is it mostly the teacher shortage? What's the community concept? What's on their mind? I sound like Jennifer Garner in the commercial on TV. What's in their mind? What's in their wallet?
It really varies, but off the top of my head, one person asked, does anybody have a rubric for considering pair assignments? So, what other directors would have something to have a checklist to say, when you're looking at providing additional support with a paraprofessional, does anybody have a resource like that? And that person received many responses. It also has the ability to upload resources on there, so that it would be like a housing area for maybe what different directors have already done successply. And so, like you said, there's no reason to recreate the wheel. You go to the community first, you lean on your CASE colleagues to see what they have going for any amount of issues. And then, discipline and behavior is always a big one, so resources around that as well.
Always has been. Yeah, it's really interesting. And have you known? I have to ask you this: I work a lot with Howie Nuff. Okay, have you noticed a increase or decrease in parents litigating with school districts and all that sort of thing? I think that's a key thing. Howie's always trying to make that less, so to speak. Okay, and he's always appearing as an expert witness on one side or the other. But what are you hearing on that regard? And I know you got some stuff coming up with Julie Weatherly, so just you can incorporate the two things.
Absolutely. So, yes, we are receiving feedback, and OCR has even indicated how there's an increase of complaints to OCR. Some things are related to the pandemic and maybe frustrations from that. We're not seeing so much litigation around pandemic issues, except I think there's just a tone that has been an issue. But like you mentioned, so part of the mission when we say professional learning is very important for CASE. In seeing that uptick in state complaints and due process hearings, even before Julie Weatherly event, we're going to be offering our winter workshop, which is a virtual webinar, and that's February 8th and 9th. And we're going to have CADRE, which is the Center for Appropriate Dispute Resolution and Special Education. And they're going to be providing...
Thank you, Brigid, for yet another acronym in education. We were just about to... I know, it's amazing. Let's do that one again. CADRE, C-A-D-R-E. Go ahead, do it again. Yeah, do it again.
It's the Center for Appropriate Dispute Resolution and Special Education. And so it's a center funded by IDEA and provides great resources to prevent litigation. So this is going to give our members tools on steps that you can take to hopefully resolve any kind of conflict at the lowest level possible, because when things get contentious and litigation occurs, it's very hard to repair those relationships. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. And the people, oddly, the people who care the most about kids probably are special ed teachers, if I may. Don't anybody else get insulted, but they're really down deep with the kids. Okay, they need to be, all right, if I may say that, and and to get litigious about it. But the challenge, as we talked about a few minutes ago, okay, is that the parents still love their kids. They want to do as much as they can for them. There are laws on the books, etc., that, if I may, force the school districts to react in a proper way. Okay, but the staffing and everything, it's just it's so hard to do. So obviously, okay, there would be an uptick. Okay, as people, have to deal with this. It's amazing, and we got to do something. We got to do something about it. What does Cadre say to do, if I may? Just how do we deal with this?
There's several different tools that they have and that they've recommended. Specifically, that's what February 9th will be the tips and tools for navigating conflict. A lot has to do with communication, de-escalation of committee situations, so how to do all those great preventative things so that hopefully things can be, again, resolved at the lowest level.
Yeah, and they have to be. I mean, not all the time, but they have to be for the most part, because nobody has the time. Nobody has the time, and they're all trying to get it right anyway. I don't know.
Right.
I can't imagine any school district special ed unit not trying to do the very best for their kids. I just can't imagine. Okay?
And so then
it's so hard.
Oh, absolutely. So then February 9th is Cadre saying, here's all the tools to try to prevent litigation. But then, like you said, we have some Julie Weatherly, our great attorney and support. She is going to be doing her last quarterly legal update for this year in December 14th.
Yep.
And then in the spring, we are so excited because CASE is going to be offering an in-person legal conference titled CASE Academy of Law and Leadership. And that's going to be in Minneapolis in April. And I know, Larry, next month we'll have Julie on, and you'll get to hear all about that exciting event.
Got a schedule. Yeah. And she's a great guest, by the way, and the work she does is so important. She's still Is she still Alabama-based? Do I remember that correctly?
She is,
Where's she based? She is. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. And she is just she offers a lot to this community, and this community, okay, and I should say this with all due respect, needs all the help they can get, especially these days. That's the special ed administration. What else is coming up, or is legal the top thing these days?
Legal is the top thing as far as what we're prepping for, but what we've also seen, when you said, like, historically, there's always going to be issues around legal for special education, but there are so many new directors that we're really focusing on trying to get resources out to our new directors. So our new director network is still going strong, and so that occurs once a month. And this month we're looking into data and how special administrators can use data to drive decisions, and making sure that the data that you're collecting is the data that is going to give you the answers that you need. So, there's I encourage people to just visit the CASE website. There's an events tab that's on there, and all the current happenings and information we think is important to the field will be located on our website.
Yeah, so again, it's kcec.org. And you said something that just struck me, that there's a whole slew of new directors, and I'm sure there are every year, but is this year particularly high or whatever? Is it higher than usual to get directors?
I don't necessarily have data around that. I just know that the more members
make it up. It's radio. It's okay. Make it up. It's okay.
Is that we are seeing a lot of that as we're traveling to different states, and by the new membership. So our membership has peaked over 5,600.
That's wonderful.
That's about a 20% increase from last year. And a lot of it due because there's new directors out there looking for support and resources. So,
exactly. And let me make the point, as you say that, your membership is what, 5,600? It should be 12,600.
Exactly.
Okay. Because we have 12,000 school districts, and every single one of them has a special ed department. Okay, every single one of them. And it's absolutely absurd that a school district special ed administrator would not belong to CASE. Because, it's just absurd, and I probably said that a number of times, but it's just ridiculous. There's so much info. You guys are putting so much information out there. And as I said, these are tough times. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you need all the information and networking you can get in this day and age. Okay? If you want to succeed, and if you want to be happy in your job, and if you want to stay in your job. Okay? It's silly not to do it. So the next thing we have to do that everybody should know about is Julie Weatherly on December 14th.
That's right.
Right. And then we've got a show, and we'll talk about more things coming up at that point in, I think, late January, right? With Julie,
yes.
you and me.
Yes.
That's great.
That's right.
Yep. So this is good, and we covered a lot of stuff. How's Phyllis doing? What's going on with her? Now that
Phyllis
you're an associate
fantastic.
executive director, is there going to be a coup d'etat? Okay.
No,
like a
no,
Julius Caesar thing going on? You're not wearing togas to work or anything, right?
No way. We're great partners.
I know you are.
Actually, Phyllis has been, just going ever since the beginning of the month, November, had CASE conference and has then went to a Georgia CASE to do a keynote and support that unit. And we are traveling this week to Dallas, and there's going to be a Texas Leadership Symposium where Phyllis will keynote with also Lori Vanderploeg from CEC and other professionals.
Tell her, yeah. I'm always talking to Lori. Yeah, please. Okay,
yeah.
Tell them both I said hello, quite obviously. All right, it's good stuff. You guys are working hard. It's getting better and better and better over there for everybody who's joined. I hope, and I want to say something else. The other thing about CASE, and help me here, Brigid, before we go. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think principals should really be looking at. Can principals join CASE, or are they the enemy?
Absolutely, absolutely. No. If you are an administrator in a public school, you are an administrator that works with special education students and special education teachers.
They all do.
So it is just right. It's completely appropriate for assistant principals, superintendents, and we do have lots of superintendents and other administrators, including aspiring leaders and then higher ed folks that want to stay connected. Yeah. So everybody is welcome to be a member if there's an administrator or leader of special education.
There you go. And with that, I think we're going to leave it at that. Brigid, thank you. Okay, always great to have you here. And I'll talk to you again in January. So have a great event with Julie, and we'll talk about it then, and have a good holiday. And eventually it'll get cold. Thank you. And eventually it'll get cold down there, so Santa Claus knows to bring the reindeer and sleigh down there. He already knows up here in Maine, but he doesn't know it down there. Okay, so thanks, Brigid. Tell everybody hello for me, okay?
I will do. Take care.
Thank you, Brigid. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She's great. Okay, that's Dr. Brigid Bright, newly named Associate Executive Director over at CASE. Check out everything they do at casecec.org. And I'm serious. If you're at all involved in administration in any way, shape, or form with special ed kids, which you are, okay, you should look at CASE membership. Okay, it's really something. They've got a lot of good stuff, and it's just a wise investment all the way around. Okay, well, I'll leave it at that. We're going to archive the show at ace-ed.org. My name is Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio. Thanks for listening.